My name's Michael Ellington. I'm the agriculture agent with Vance County Cooperative Extension, and today we're on the Brown family farm with Small Farm of the Year, Patrick Brown. If you don't mind, just introduce yourself, tell us what you got going on here, and then we'll kind of walk in and take the tour from you.
Great, thank you. My name is Patrick Brown. I'm a fourth generation farmer here in Warren County, North Carolina. We are row crop producers. We grow corn, soybean, wheat, produce, and industrial hemp. What we're standing in front of today is a high tunnel, which is 36 by 98 foot. We grow year-round produce in this high tunnel. Some of the opportunities now to grow your own food are assisted by government programs that support infrastructure, such as the NRCS, which has a wonderful cost share program that allows a person that's just getting started to support them in the fees that it costs to pay for such a structure like this.
But you've got one of these big projects behind us. This is an NRCS high tunnel, right?
Yes, sir.
And you've got some irrigation in there, and if you wouldn't mind, we're going to step in there and just take a look. All right. Maybe you can start by telling us what you're planting in here.
Sure. So at this time of year, we grow fall crops for our CNSA members. Primarily what we have in here, we try to take advantage of space. So you may see a lot of things being double cropped or alternate cropped or companion planted.
Right.
For example, we have the rainbow Swiss chard here that is almost like a crop that you can harvest it and it'll continue to grow. It's not a one-time harvest. So we try to grow things in high tunnel spaces that are multiple harvest plants or vegetables. And that way it allows us to get more of a profit, and also we don't have to rotate as often.
Right.
So we have Swiss chard, cabbage, carrots, mustard greens, broccoli, and cauliflower. That's in the high tunnel right now. But what we do is what we call succession planting. What succession planting is that every time you harvest something, you replant something. Whether it be in season or out of season, having a high tunnel allow you to extend on things that are not accustomed to be grown at certain times of the year.
Right.
As long as you have the infrastructure in place, such as heat, such as ventilation fans, roll-up sides, shade cloths, if it's that time of the year that you may need it. So we try to take advantage of retrofitting a high tunnel with everything that can be put into it so that we can extend our product as long as we can.
Now, I see a couple of these things already. We're talking about the fans right off. These fans right here, everybody knows that high tunnels tend to have a problem with mold. How will these fans help you out with that?
So mold is just one of the things. The circulation fans helps in the soil science of growing the crops. One, it keeps the soil aerated, where if we didn't have circulation, you'll start seeing mold or you'll start seeing fungus. The other aspect of circulation fans is, especially in the wintertime, a lot of people think that if it's hot, why do you still have fans blowing? Because it's not to cool the house in the wintertime, it's to circulate the heat. So because this is a 36 by 98 foot structure, as you can see, those fans are not pointed in the same direction. They're pointed in facing each other because what it's doing is circulating the heat when the heat comes on once the temperature drops below 40 degrees.
Now, the NRCS, they push a lot of conservation programs. And one of the things that they're very concerned with is water quality and soil quality. Tell me what this is doing for your soil quality inside.
So by having the proper irrigation, instead of overhead, what I call, we started out with overhead, and that's one of the mistakes that I made, thinking that all overhead irrigation is good and that their other alternatives are not as good. And what I had to understand was drip line saves on efficiency of how much usage of water that you're using, and it also can be timed to the amount of usage that is needed for a certain plant to grow.
Right.
And also putting fertilization into the plant directly into the soil or into the root bed, that allowed me to see how fast a crop could grow and how fast I could move the product out of the high tunnel.
That's the key.
That was the key. So what I identified in my high tunnel production is that I tried to use the least amount of plastic as possible.
Okay, great.
So what you were seeing here compared to some other high tunnels is instead of us using mulch plastic to control weeds, we use non-treated wood chips.
Okay.
What that does is eventually it drowns out the ability of weeds to continue to grow. But what I've learned is input costs are increasing, efficiency not necessarily. And what I mean by that is if you have the labor dedicated to what you see or you envision, then you don't necessarily need certain equipment because it might cost more.
Sure.
Right now, the physical labor is cheaper than equipment.
Oh, wow. Okay.
For what's needed. However, it may speed up the process with certain equipment for high tunnel production, but
Right.
we're more hands-on for the products in here, which is why you see the difference of how they look.
They look wonderful. And I know that to keep them healthy, you've got a lot going on in here. One thing I haven't talked about is this heater back here. Now, I think a lot of people, when they think about a high tunnel, it just works. It's a very passive system. Is this a passive system for you?
It is a passive system for me to be successful in always having to fill the need of what someone requests. So if I have certain particular crops at a certain time of the year, that customer always knows that we are able or have the accessibility of growing it.
Right.
In order for us to do that, we have to have what it takes to grow specific crops throughout the year, heat being one of them.
So you could really do this year-round in this area without any real issue. It's not even extending the growing season. It's making it a year-round growing season.
Correct. We've had snow on top of the high tunnel, still growing product like this.
Beautiful, beautiful. Can we take a look at some of the equipment here? It looks like you've got a seeder back there.
You have a Jang seeder and just have a Toru tiller.
Now, without the traditional compaction issues with a larger tractor, when you're using this tiller, what are you trying to achieve?
So what I'm doing is with the tiller, we want to make sure we have a proper seed bed if we're going to utilize a Jang seeder.
Okay.
So we want the soil to be very fine. What we do with our compost is we till up. Once we succession and end the planting for whatever crop we planted, we till up that bed, we add more compost on top, and then we till again, and then we plant into it.
Wonderful. Mr. Brown, I really appreciate you giving me the whole tour today. I'm sure that I'm going to have 1,000 other questions for you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate you. Thanks.